From Georgia, Mr. Scott is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you very much, Chair Lady. This is a very timely and very interesting hearing. But let me start with this. I want to ask each of you, how can we even begin to intelligently address this housing infrastructure needs, particularly as it affects the middle and lower income, when the Trump administration is proposing to zero out the budget of the one major instrument that we have to address this, which is the Community Development Block Grants Program. Now, if we don't put that on the table, and if we don't put pressure on this administration to cut it out, it's insane. All of us realize that this is at the core a financial problem. It's a money problem. And when you got Dr. Ben Carson, I respect him, but every time he comes before the committee, I ask him, why and how? Now, I'd like for each of you to give us your indication, particularly Ms. Todman and Mr. Lawson. This is a financial issue. This requires money. And here you got the Trump administration wanting to cut out and zero out $8.2 billion at this great need, when one of the fastest growing groups that need it are our veterans. How cruel can you be? So tell us, how can we intelligently deal with this? Does it upset you all the way it should?
Yeah, thank you, Congressman. I think that everybody here at the table will agree that the White House's proposal was less than ideal when it came to infusing funds into the affordable housing programs. Our members administer CDBG, Home, the Capital Fund, and we have been disappointed year after year to see that those programs have been zero funded, but we have been thrilled that this Congress has done the right thing and come back and seen where needs are at the local level, the national level, and we are hoping that that will happen again during 2020, and we're very excited about what happened in 18 and 19. I think that all things around this issue requires a sense of leadership. It requires leadership at every level. That's why we're excited to be here and see the chairperson creating a leadership space to have this conversation. And so while these proposals will come down and zero out important programs for localities, we look to this Congress to do the right thing.
All right. Mr. Lawson.
Yes, great question. NAHB, of course, opposes the zeroing out of the CDBG as well as the home. Those are important resources. They are not all the resources. We need more resources, obviously. While it's not under the jurisdiction of this committee, the low-income housing tax credit is probably the most fundamental resource for creating affordable housing. We certainly oppose that. It is a financial issue, and we should do everything in our power as an industry to preserve the funding. I think this issue is gaining a lot more traction and a lot more attention nationwide. I know it is locally in the areas that I work, so that's a positive sign.
Very good. Mr. Carter and Ms. Bentel?
Yes, if I could add on, thank you. We share your concern and your outrage over the proposed cuts that go much deeper and broader than eliminating CDBG. The administration would eliminate the National Housing Trust Fund, would eliminate public housing capital repair dollars at a time when there's such a substantial need. Like Ms. Todman, we are pleased that Congress has not only rejected those proposals, but actually increased spending by 10% for the first time in many, many years. This is an important first step, but we have a long way to go to make up for decades of disinvestment in these programs. And we are still under the very tight spending caps required under the Budget Control Act, which is why it's so important to look for opportunities outside the appropriations process to invest in affordable housing, like through an infrastructure spending package, through GSE reform, through other methods.
Ms. Carter.
The quick answer is we will invest private money if we can get more private money, if we can get more obstacles reduced.
Thank you, Ms. Sherman.
The gentleman from